Okay, 1 kilometer ski erg, your first workout station in your Hyrox race. We're going to take a look at what the rules are for the workout station. We're going to take a look at the most optimal technique for the ski erg, and then some common faults that we see and how to overcome them. First and foremost, then, the rules. So when you enter the ski erg lane, you're going to see a judge waving their arm around, and you need to go on the ski erg that they assign you. You can't just pick one. So make sure you clock the judge and go where they tell you. When you're on there, you've got 1 kilometer to complete, and you cannot leave until the judge gives you a thumbs up. Now, note that there's going to be a couple of judges in a long lane of ski erg, so you're going to have to get their attention. So a bit of a top tip is just start making some noise way before you actually need them. So if you're on your own, start shouting at like 950 meters. If you're doing doubles, whoever isn't on the ski erg, again, just start getting their attention nice and early. As soon as you finish, you want to be able to leave. Second rule for the 24-25 season is you can now change the dampener as much as you want to. Now, there shouldn't be much help at all compared to previous years because you could change it once anyway. During our training, we want to be thinking about what dampener setting we want it to be on, taking note of that so that when we come onto the race, we can just slap it on, whatever it is that we're going to have it on, and leave it there. Last but not least, when you are doing doubles division, just make sure that you don't pass the handles. So there's going to be a mat behind the ski erg that the non-working partner needs to stand on. We're going to head over, stand on that. And then when we're ready to change, you need to let go of those handles before you then swap over. Okay, technique. So a couple of things to think about. First and foremost, when you first come into the station or when you swap over, we want to start getting into a rhythm on the ski as quickly as we can. Okay, the whole idea of this, or any movement in the Hyrox race, is to move as efficiently as possible. We want it to cost the least amount of energy as we can. So we're going to want a nice smooth start. So you can see as I approach and start my strokes, my first, second, third strokes all look relatively the same. We're going to start regaining control of our breathing and start lowering or maintaining that heart rate as well as we can. Second thing to note is at the top of our stroke, we are reaching up nice and tall, but we are maintaining engagement through the lats and through the triceps. And we can see I'm doing that with a little bend in my elbow, and I'm not quite reaching up with straight arms. That is going to allow us to start generating power as soon as we put our body weight through the handles and then engage those muscles in the second phase of the pull. The next thing to note on the ski erg is that 80% of your power is going to be generated in the first 20 to 30% of your pull. So from this position here to about the height of my waistline, my belly button, is where most of the power is going to be generated in the ski erg pull. Now, to make the most of that, we want to use our body weight to our advantage. So you can see that the next cue is to think about the ski erg as a chest-led movement. We can see as I'm going through a few strokes here that my body weight is coming into play really early in the lift, in the pull. I'm hinging at the hip. I'm driving my chest and my elbows down towards the floor. But that last little flick away of the arms isn't happening until below my waistline. That little flick away at the bottom, as I said, it's only going to contribute about 20% of the overall power on the ski erg. And we want to be thinking about pulling to our knees here. Some coaches will refer it to pulling to your pockets, kind of both referring to the same thing. You can see the handles don't go past my knees. They don't go behind me at all. We're pulling in a nice straight line. On that note, the last thing to think about is recovering straight. So as I mentioned, the goal here is to be as efficient as possible. And the most efficient route from A to B is in a straight line. Okay, let's have a little look at common faults then. So starting on the left-hand side, we can see what a scrappy start looks like. So This is a common way that we see people trying to get the flywheel moving on the ski erg with some short, jerky movements. Not only can you not breathe very well when this is happening, but it's also just costing you a lot of energy to do an awful lot in a short space of time that doesn't generate much power. So we want to avoid that as much as we can. Nice smooth start. The second video is showing you how not to use your body weight. So you can see that predominantly the movement here is an arm-driven movement. So I'm initiating the pull with my arms and then almost entirely using my arms, not leaning into the handles very much here with my chest, and I'm not driving my weight forward towards the flywheel. So we're missing out on all of my 80 odd kilos, giving us an advantage on the ski. As I said, we're thinking about driving with our chest at the initial phase of the ski erg pull. Thinking about inefficiency then, you can see it just by the way I'm stood here. So as I mentioned, the majority of the power is going to be generated from the top of your pull down to about your waistline, and anything past that is really just wasted energy. We want to be recovering back in a straight line. But we do often see people trying to get extra length in their pull with a pull back behind them. And again, it is just inefficiency here, wasted energy, throwing those arms back behind you, and it's going to take you longer to get back into that next stroke. So we want to avoid doing that. In a similar fashion, the old butterfly arms, so bringing the arms up and around. We do often hear that this feels nice, or it allows you to relax your arms a bit more. That may well be the case, but again, when we're thinking about efficiency, we want to be training from A to B in as straight a line as possible. You are effectively doing a lateral raise here with your arms. And you can imagine we're probably going to be doing upwards of 150 strokes on the ski erg to cover our 1,000 meters. That is an awful lot of lateral raises that aren't giving you any more meters on that ski. So again, we want to avoid that as well.